Good morning, it's Miss Larson. It's Monday, May 18th, and we have a short week this week. We have Friday off and we have next Monday off. And the reason for that is Memorial Day, which is an American holiday. It's a day when we honor the men and women who fought in our armed forces and sacrificed for our freedoms. So I just want to go through a few vocabulary words before we read a story. Okay, vocabulary. The first one is armed forces. Armed forces. The armed forces are I'll just read the definition. There are 5 branches or parts of the American Armed Forces: the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. Soon we will have the 6th branch called the Space Force. So we have a new branch of our military. These are just the emblems that they created to represent each. And this is the new Space Force emblem. Okay, celebrate. Our first vocabulary word is celebrate. That means to make special or honor with gifts, parties, or activities. The town is celebrating the holiday with a parade. This is a picture taken from a Memorial Day parade. Our next word is freedom. Freedom means the power to do what you want to do or the ability to move or act freely. In America, we can move to a different state without asking anybody. We can visit other states. We can say what we want to say. We have a lot of freedoms in the United States. So we have freedoms mentioned in our story. I want you to understand what that means. Veterans. Veterans are people who served in the armed forces. So if you have a brother or sister, mom or dad who was in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, they are a veteran. These veterans are marching in a Memorial Day parade. I know a lot of parades have been canceled this year because of the virus, which is unfortunate. Another word is fallen soldier. This is really what we memorialize, fallen soldiers. What they mean by fallen is that someone died while they were serving our country. Someone in any of the armed forces that died while fighting for our freedoms. Honor. Honor means showing respect for what someone has done for others. So these men are honoring other veterans that sacrificed for the freedoms in America, for our rights. And here's the word sacrifice. Sacrifice means to give up something, especially for the sake of something or someone else. An example sentence is, they sacrificed their lives for their country. And that's really what memorial means. Memorial, it sounds like memory, and that's what we're doing. We are remembering the men and women who sacrificed or gave up their life in honor in service to the country for our freedoms and our rights. Bugler. This is a bugle right here. And a bugler is someone that plays the bugle. Right here, you can see a man playing the bugle. They do this for fallen soldiers at many funerals. And what they play is a song called taps. A bugle call, which means when they play it, it's a bugle call, played at dusk or in the evening during flag ceremonies and at military funerals by the United States Armed Forces. So we try to play taps whenever a veteran dies. It's not always easy to find a bugler, though. So those are just some of the words you're going to hear in the story that I'm going to read. Okay. This story is called Memorial Day. This is the table of contents. The table of contents tells you where you're going to find, I'm turning pages. where you're going to find certain information in the story. Let me go back and we'll start from the beginning here. If I can turn the page. Sorry, guys. Okay. Here. Memorial Day is here. Families gather at the cemetery. They lay flowers on military graves. So they had someone in their family, or they could just be honoring someone that in the military, and they're putting flowers, and many times they put an American flag at the graveside. A bugler plays taps while people stand quietly. It is Memorial Day. Memorial Day honors fallen soldiers of the United States. People remember their sacrifice for many. For many, it also marks the start of summer. So that's very true. Memorial Day is like the last end of spring, and once Memorial Day happens, the weather gets better. So everybody just feels like summer's here because we're almost out of school. We're going on vacation, and the good weather's here, so we celebrate. We honor our veterans. We have picnics, we have parades, and we start the summer. Who celebrates Memorial Day? People in the United States celebrate Memorial Day. Other countries may also honor U.S. troops who died on their land. And right here it says, this is a Memorial Day celebration in France. And France honors Memorial Day because we had a war in Europe called we had World War I and World War II. But the United States went into France and helped them in wartime. So they honor us at that time. Memorial Day beginnings. Memorial Day began in Waterloo, New York in 1866. This is called a compass rose, north, south, east, west. This is a Civil War battle. The reason it started, Memorial Day, is it honored those who died in the Civil War. The holiday was called Decoration Day. It was originally called Decoration Day, and then they changed it to Memorial Day, maybe. Decoration Day was celebrated every May 30th for many years. People later began remembering all fallen soldiers on this day. So it started out Decoration Day to remember the Civil War soldiers, and then it changed to honor all fallen soldiers in all wars. It was renamed Memorial Day in 1967. Time to celebrate. Memorial Day now falls on the last day in May. Schools close to respect veterans. Many businesses also close for this important day. So again, this is why we have the day off on Friday and Monday. Memorial Day traditions. People decorate military graves with flags and flowers. American flags fly at half-staff until noon. When it says half-staff, that means when we see a flag all the way up the flagpole, that's full staff. The pole is called the staff. So in honor of the fallen soldiers, we fly the flag halfway down. That's half-staff. Many people take a moment of silence at 3 p.m. And we do this just to either say a prayer or just give thanks for the men and women who sacrificed their lives for us. Some buy red cloth poppies on this day. They wear the flowers to remember lives lost in service. The sales help veterans. These are little poppies you can wear, and some of them you don't wear, you just can hold around. My mom was part of something called the American Legion Auxiliary, and she always sold these poppies. So whenever I see them around Memorial Day, I think of my mom and all of her friends who gathered to help the veterans. People gather to celebrate freedom on Memorial Day. Some grill food or go to the beach. Families watch soldiers march in parades. They remember those who died for the United States. And then there's some vocabulary words, and that's the end. Okay, now I'm going to have you do an assignment. This one's kind of fun, though. It's called an acrostic poem, and some of you may have already done this type of poem. I'm going to show you an example. Sorry, I'm moving this phone around. I hope the video's not too shaky. But what it is you're going to make a poem for America. See the A-M-E-R-I-C-A. And you're going to think of a word that reminds you of America and put it in the A spot. I've got an example here with my name. Larsen. See how it's spelled? L-A-R-S-E-N. Down this way. So for L, I put laughing because I love to laugh. A, artful, because when I have time, I love art. I try to be always respectful to everybody. And I put swimming because that's one of my favorite activities. I love to go swimming. And E's a funny one. It's envelope. So I have to explain that. I text people and I email people, but I also still write letters to my family and friends. And you have to put your letter in an envelope. A lot of people don't do that because they only communicate through technology. But my mom wrote a lot of letters, and I just think it's a lot of fun to get some mail in the mailbox instead of just advertisements. So I put envelope because I like to write letters. And the last one is nice because just like being respectful, I try to be nice. So here's another example for cats. This is cuddly, acrobatic, tenacious, and softly purring cats. Now you're going to write this one. You got to think of a word for A, M, E, R, I, C, A. Each one reminds you of America. If you can't think of a word, think of a place in America. Like for A, you could put the Arctic or a name of a town or something that you like to do in America. Anything, just so that it reminds you of America. Okay, guys, this was kind of a long video, but I wanted to explain to you why we have Memorial Day off this weekend, and I hope you have a good week. I'll talk to you tomorrow.